Up next is a free episode of my show, which airs exclusively on MotorTrend On Demand. It's called Daily Fix. You'll find it on MotorTrend On Demand, except for most weekends here on YouTube, where you're going to see a free episode. On the show are casual conversations with folks like this guy, who's scaring me half to death. If you like what you see on this next episode, get a free 30-day trial, MotorTrendOnDemand.com. If not, you can keep enjoying the YouTube stuff.
Also remember, when you're doing the figure eight, turn your traction control off, which I forgot to do. That's why it's bogging down. Come on, car.
On this episode, we're back with the Aston Martin DB11, and we're going to find out how well it handles on MotorTrend's figure eight lap course. If it can put the 600 horsepower down to the ground, and if it slides around a little bit. We'll see if we have some time and some fun and some spare tires, maybe. Enjoy. MotorTrend's figure eight course consists of two 200-foot skid pads that are separated by 500 feet. We get a lap time out of this because it's kind of like a portable road course, and we get some G numbers out of this. But what we're interested in primarily, and you would know this if you've been watching a bunch of test episodes before, is how this car deals with transitions, because we go from peak braking during corner entry to mid-corner road holding and then power exit. And that's a subjective feedback that you can't really put a number on, but it's the stuff that matters most to actually lapping cars hard and driving cars hard in anger. And so we're going to get started with that once I do another warm-up lap. This is a very powerful car, so who knows exactly what it's going to do. I have the Sport Plus mode engaged on the drive mode, and the dampers set in the Red Plus mode, which I assume means the raciest setting. We're shifting manually, 8-speed automatic, and stability control is completely off. Here goes nothing. So big power. Big power, very big power. Might just try third gear instead of trying to figure out second. Power's so big that maybe better, more tractable in a lower gear. Nope. Nope, not at all. Okay, so we're going to take some patience on the throttle. Can't solve it by gearing. Just got to be gentle. Gentle and patience on the long throttle. All right, that's much cleaner. I'm seeing 80 on the speedo as I go to the brake, so it's just as fast as it feels. Brakes are good. It has a lot of grip. These are Bridgestone something 7. They have a tread wear of 240, which typically means to me that they're not the raciest tire in the world, though they're a good summer tire. But the braking power is pretty good, all things considered. I'm getting a lot of oversteer on exit because it's fun. This thing's pretty good. This thing's pretty good, I gotta say. I would like a bit more control on exit. If I could get out of the corner a bit cleaner. Part of it's on me for getting a little too aggressive with the throttle. Maybe I should leave it in auto. Let's see how it may fix that oversteer on exit. Maybe I should just short shift. Clean. There we go. A little understeering. I think our front tires are going away. The tipping is a little much, a little too aggressive. Come on, clean, no. Little over entry on my part there. let's cool it down there. Whew. So Aston Martin DB11, hellaciously fast, hellaciously powerful, but tractable, really controllable power, and that's nice. The balance of the car is pretty good for what I would describe to be a GT car. Want to show off for the camera a little bit. Wrong gear for that, but I also don't want to destroy the tires too much because they need to use this car for an episode of Ignition. GT car, big on power, and normally I would associate GT with a bit more softness, tractability, a little bit more focus on high speed and comfort rather than limit performance. But in the case of this DB11, it's actually really nicely balanced even with those characteristics in mind. It's really tractable in terms of power application off the corner. You get a big oversteer if you're too heavy with the throttle, but it's really easy to manage. The difficulty is with controlling that oversteer and limiting yourself from getting too sideways, and that's all on the driver with the throttle. The front of the car is biased towards stability. It's not gonna do a big oversteer if you drop throttle and turn in. It's pretty safe in that regard. The entry behavior is stable, but the exit is fun, and it's fun and not. It's appropriate for the power that you have. It's not like it's oversteer too readily or that's all that it does. You can manage it. And you couldn't do that with some other Astons in the past. I think of the V12 Vantage with the manual. That thing was like all oversteer all the time. This feels way more tied down as a chassis, and that's really nice. I like the fact that I have a tach with a real red line on it. I can gauge that really nicely. Gear changes are smooth, easy to control. You can get out of sideways and not shock the chassis too much. The way that the acceleration force is damped is really easy to control. I can grab the shift paddle because they're nice and big when I've got a little bit of wheel and I'm coming out of the sideways. That's nice. I'm pleasantly surprised by how this largish, pricey GT car handles. It has a bit of pitch and roll, pitch especially on braking, but that feels good. It's an additional way to communicate how much braking force you're using and how much you have left. The balance is really nice. I'm impressed and surprised, and that's why I appreciate having this test, because just driving on the street I was a little underwhelmed, but once I opened it up and got to explore it, I really am having fun with it. The power is immense. The power is very immense, such that I tried being a gear up, like third gear, where I would normally be in second gear, and that just created more oversteer because the power is multiplied at that point. So it has the power to break traction pretty much whenever you need it to. That's a nice thing to have. That's been the figure 8 test on the Aston Martin DB11. Check for it in an episode of Ignition, and you'll see the lap times on MotorTrend.com and the magazine and the video and all that fun stuff too. If you have any questions, dailyfix@motortrend.com, and we'll see you next time. Toodles. Here's what you missed last week on Daily Fix, exclusively on MotorTrend On Demand. We're at the big track at Willow Springs. We have an Aston Martin DB11. And we're at the track with the Ignition crew. We're going to show you what goes into a typical track day with MotorTrend and Ignition.
Okay. A little bit of understeer. Oh yeah. My beautiful, gorgeous, lovely. Yes!
Nope, not at all.
I'm Carlos Lago, and if you didn't watch last week's Daily Fix, you should do that now. It's exclusive on MotorTrend On Demand.